this video, I'm going to show you how to create supercharged practice sessions so you can prepare to deliver your best man speech in the most efficient and fastest way. To get started, I want you to think about something. How does a marathon runner prepare to run a marathon? Do they go for walks every day and then expect to perform on race day? Of course not. Does a baseball player throw slow pitches when he practices and then expect to throw pro pitches during the game? Impossible. Do you follow what I'm saying? Here's the key concept that never crosses most guys' minds when they're practicing for their best man speech. The way you practice is the way you will deliver. I'll say that one more time. The way you practice is the way you will deliver. I want you to follow these 3 rules that will guarantee to supercharge your practice sessions and make sure you get the most out of every minute you spend practicing your best man speech. Rule number 1, stand up and move around. It's very important that you recreate the way in which you will deliver your best man speech when you practice. Sitting down drains energy. It shrinks your diaphragm and can make your voice sound dull and weak. When you stand up and move around, you will look, sound, and feel confident when you practice. Building and reinforcing this confidence throughout your daily practice sessions is a critical part of delivering a powerful best man speech. Also, make sure you use hand gestures. Using hand gestures does 2 important things. You not only improve your delivery by engaging your audience visually, but the idea of an action also improves memory. Using consistent gestures throughout your speech each time you practice can act as physical anchors to help you fast-track memorization, keep your place, and remember the next line. Here's an expert's tip. If you're not sure when to use hand gestures in your speech, try using them to describe physical things. For example, when you're talking about the groom, you could say, "At that time, John had a really big beard." Or you can say, "I remember when I first met him thinking how much taller he was than me." These sorts of movements will help you learn your speech significantly faster, and they will also largely contribute to holding your audience's attention when you deliver your speech. This brings us to rule number 2. You absolutely must speak out loud when practicing. Here are the very important reasons why. When you speak out loud, you will be creating muscle memory in your mouth. As muscle memory improves, it requires less and less brain power to deliver your speech. This frees up attention to focus on other things, like using hand gestures. There was a study done in 2017 by the University of Waterloo that found speaking text out loud helps the words get into long-term memory. The study showed that the action of both speaking and hearing yourself has the most beneficial impact on memory. That's why it's the fastest and most efficient way to prepare for your best man speech. Don't speak under your breath or mumble. Again, the way you practice is the way you will deliver. When you present, you want to speak in a clear and confident voice, so you must also practice in that same way. Rule number 3. When you practice your best man speech, you may catch yourself stumbling on a word or losing your place. When this happens, do not stop. It's a mistake that so many guys make when practicing for their speech, but it's one of the worst things you can do to yourself. I'll explain why. Picture yourself delivering your best man speech on the wedding day, and you stumble. Do you want to stop? What if you lose your place? Do you want to start your speech over from the beginning? And do you want to swear and yell every time you make a mistake? Of course not. Here's the key. Don't reinforce any behavior while practicing that you don't want to include in your delivery. When practicing your best man speech, do not stop. Every time you practice your speech, you should practice it from start to finish. Stopping throughout your speech will cause a very negative thing to happen. You will be training yourself to stop every time you think you've made a mistake. Here's what you need to do if you make a mistake while you're practicing. If you forget your next line or lose your place, take your time. Calmly refer to your notes, find your next line, and continue on. If you stumble or mispronounce a word, correct the word that you stumbled or mispronounced by repeating it, and then continue your speech with confidence. By going through this seminar, you're giving yourself the essential skills to practice efficiently and fast, and setting yourself up to delivering your perfect best man speech. Open up the Supercharged practice sessions checklist and follow along with me now. Here is your Supercharged action plan. This is what you're going to do every time you do a Fast 5 or a Swift 15. Number 1, deliver your speech out loud. 2, ask yourself, do I like how that sounded? If you like how it sounded, read it out loud again and try to get more comfortable and relaxed each time you practice. If you didn't like how it sounded, read it out loud again, but do it in a slightly different way. I'm going to give you some examples of how to do that. If you don't like how you sounded, here's what you can change. You can play around with the speed at which you're speaking. Try slowing down your pace and saying each word with intention. It might feel like you're speaking too slowly, but keep in mind, with all the nerves of getting up and presenting in front of an audience, you're naturally going to speak more quickly. It's a good idea to practice at a slow, steady pace. If you still feel like you're speaking too quickly, try taking a breath every 2 or 3 sentences. Pauses can be so powerful when delivering your best man speech to your audience. Take a quick break for yourself and take a breath before you move on. You can also experiment with your sound. Try changing the pitch or sound of your voice. It's natural when you're nervous to speak a little more high. Take your time and speak in a confident and commanding voice. Experiment with changing the volume of your voice throughout your speech. Here's an example of how to do this. You can try speaking a little quieter when you're saying something dramatic or heartfelt. And you can speak a little more loudly when you're making a joke or imitating the groom. Next, let's look at the Swift 15 video checklist. Every time you do a Swift 15 practice session, you'll be recording yourself. This is what to look for when you watch the video. First, you can gauge your energy level. Does watching yourself deliver your speech get you excited, or are you a little bit lower energy? You can use the information you get from watching yourself on the video to help change and improve your practicing every time you do a Swift 15. Ask yourself, are your gestures working? Are your gestures synchronized well with your words? Make sure your hand gestures are synced up with the words that you want to emphasize. Watch to make sure you're using different hand gestures throughout your speech. It's a common mistake to use the same gesture over and over again. This will seem repetitive to your audience. If you catch yourself using the same hand gesture over and over, make sure you're aware of it to change it next time. Make sure you're smiling. You don't have to have a big fake goofy grin on your face the entire time you speak. Make sure you're having a good time while you're practicing your best man speech and delivering it. Putting a smile on your face will not only improve your delivery, but it will make you feel better as well. It's likely that when you deliver your speech, you're going to feel a little nervous. You want to make sure you reinforce that smile on your face throughout your practice so that it's naturally there when you deliver too. Also, check to see if you are fidgeting or your body is swaying from side to side as you're delivering your speech. You want to have both feet firmly planted about shoulder width apart with a commanding stance. And you don't want to fidget with your notes or anything else in your hands that may distract your audience while you deliver your speech. It's a great idea to ask some friends or family to be your test audience when you're practicing your speech. You can ask them to help you with this checklist after you deliver to your test audience. Ask them, am I making eye contact? Is my humor making you smile or laugh? Am I keeping your attention throughout my speech? Ask your test audience these two questions. What was your favorite part of my speech? This is a great opportunity to get a boost of confidence, to have your test audience tell you what they really like about your speech and what you did well. Also, ask them, how can I improve my delivery? This is an opportunity to get some constructive feedback on something that you may not have picked up when you were watching your videos. Great. Now you have all the tools and knowledge needed to create supercharged practice sessions and practice your speech efficiently and fast. I wish you the best of luck practicing your best man speech. Continue on to the next section where we are going to focus on delivering your speech. We're going to discuss how to mentally prepare, how to create the perfect speech notes, and how to guarantee success on the wedding day.